Imagine standing on the shores of the Great Lakes, where the gentle lapping of the waves against the land has been a constant companion to Native American communities for generations. These lakes, including Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, and Lake Huron, have been the lifeblood of indigenous peoples, providing not just sustenance, but a deep cultural connection to the land and its bounty. For over 1,000 years before European settlers arrived, indigenous tribes such as the Anishinaabe, including the Odawa, Saulteaux, Potawatomi, and Ojibwe, also known as Chippewa, employed spearfishing, angling, and netting techniques to hunt fish. These tribes relied heavily on catching species like whitefish, lake trout, sturgeon, walleye, cisco, and Atlantic salmon, especially in Lake Ontario. Fishing was a year-round occupation, but the tribes recognized that fish were more abundant at certain times than others. In spring and autumn, when fish crowded into shallow waters, the tribes would settle around the shores of the Great Lakes. During these months, fishermen could catch as many as several hundred fish a day. Autumn fishing was especially bountiful, as the tribes needed to catch enough fish to last them through the winter. One of the most effective fishing tools used by these tribes was the gill net. Women would fabricate meshes from local materials like basswood and nettle, attaching sinker stones to ensure the net sank to the desired depth. Men would carve cedar floats for these nets, which were cast between two canoes positioned side by side. This technique was particularly effective for catching whitefish in the deeper waters of Lake Superior. Spearfishing was another common practice, especially for catching walleye and sturgeon on Lake Huron and Lake Michigan. The Anishinaabe and Odawa tribes were renowned for their prowess in this method, often using torches to attract fish at night. The use of torches not only illuminated the water, but also symbolized the connection between the physical and spiritual worlds. In addition to these methods, Native Americans used stone weirs. By piling stones in a V shape in shallow rivers, they could direct fish into a narrow opening where they could be caught by hand, spear, or net. This technique was not only efficient, but also sustainable, as it allowed for selective fishing without harming the environment. Fishing was not just a means of survival, but a cultural practice deeply intertwined with the spiritual and social fabric of Native American communities. The seasonal movements of fish influenced settlement patterns, with tribes often gathering at shorelines during fishing seasons. The preservation of fish through smoking, drying, and freezing was crucial for sustaining communities through the winter months. These preservation techniques were passed down through generations, ensuring that the bounty of the lakes was available year-round. During the fish runs, tribes would camp along the shore, processing and preserving the fish for later use. Smoking was a common method, where fish were dried over low heat to remove moisture, making them durable for storage. They also made a powder of smoked Great Lakes whitefish for use in stews, soups, and fish pies. This powder could be mixed with fresh blueberries, providing a nutritious and flavorful meal throughout the year. In exploring the historical context of these fishing practices, it is essential to examine the role of fishing in the daily life of Native American communities. Fishing was not just a source of food. It was a cultural practice that influenced settlement patterns, spiritual ceremonies, and social structures. The Great Lakes, with their vast resources, supported numerous tribes and played a central role in their history. The cultural significance of fishing extends beyond its practical use as a source of food. It is deeply tied to spiritual practices and ceremonies that honor the land and its creatures. For many Native American communities, the act of fishing is a prayer, a way of expressing gratitude for the bounty of nature. This spiritual connection is reflected in the stories and legends that have been passed down through generations, stories that teach us about the importance of living in harmony with nature. In exploring the fishing secrets of Native American communities around the Great Lakes, we are reminded of the beauty and richness of cultural diversity. The stories of these communities inspire us to appreciate the ingenuity and resourcefulness of indigenous peoples who lived in harmony with nature for centuries. The Great Lakes have always been a source of fascination and inspiration for those who live near them. Their vastness and beauty evoke a sense of awe, and their importance to the ecosystem cannot be overstated. For Native American communities, these lakes have been a source of life, providing food, spiritual guidance, and cultural identity. As we delve deeper into the historical context of Native American fishing practices, we find a rich tapestry of cultural and spiritual significance. The Great Lakes tribes were skilled fishermen, using a variety of methods to catch fish throughout the year. Their reliance on fish as a major part of their diet and culture underscores the importance of these lakes to indigenous communities. In addition to their practical use, fishing tools and techniques held cultural significance. For example, the birch bark canoe was not just a means of transportation, but a symbol of community and craftsmanship. The process of making these canoes involved communal effort and spiritual rituals, emphasizing the importance of cooperation and respect for nature. The preservation of Native American cultural heritage is essential for maintaining the cultural continuity of these communities. Efforts to document and teach traditional fishing methods to younger generations are crucial for ensuring that these practices are not lost over time. In exploring the fishing secrets of Native American communities around the Great Lakes, we are reminded of the importance of preserving our cultural heritage and respecting the land and its bounty. The stories of these communities inspire us to appreciate the ingenuity and resourcefulness of indigenous peoples who lived in harmony with nature for centuries. In conclusion, the fishing secrets of Native American communities around the Great Lakes are a testament to their ingenuity, cultural richness, and deep connection to nature. As we explore and learn from these traditions, we are reminded of the importance of preserving our cultural heritage and respecting the land and its bounty. Follow adventure seekers, paradise, for more stories of cultural connection and adventure.